Okay, we will switch for the last segment of this episode to the Scandinavian scholar Dag Ensjo. His last name is spelled Endsjo, and he was kind enough to upload for free a portion of his book, which you can download. Again, you have the download link underneath the video. It's on Academia EDU. You can join there for free. It doesn't cost you anything. He named his book, it's a lengthy name, Primordial Landscapes, Incorruptible Bodies. Subtitle, Desert Asceticism and the Christian Appropriation of Greek Ideas on Geography, Bodies, and Immortality. So we'll just read some of the segments because we can read this for hours. It's a wonderful book, and I'm so grateful that he uploaded 45 pages for free. But basically, this is what this scholar says. Athanasius, this is page 23, Paul, in the PDF. Athanasius emphasized the intimate relationship between these demonic powers and the geography they inhabited. This was an area the devil and his minions considered to belong to them. The devil recoiled just at the idea of Anthony entering the wilderness. When he was said, "Go away from what is ours," the demons demanded of the solitary ascetic. Basically, they said, "What are you doing even here in the desert?" But these demons actually were identical with the ancient Greek gods, not with capital G, but with small g. The Alexandrian church father had no doubt that his host of demonic creatures and the ancient pantheon were identical when he says, the Christians, those who sincerely serve and piously believe in him, meaning God, prove not only that the demons, whom the Greeks themselves consider gods, are not gods, but deceivers and corrupters of mankind. From originally being a term interchangeable with theos, the word daemon or daimon came to mean a lesser deity. I love how this scholar, this Scandinavian scholar, explains this in a way that Dr. Heiser would agree. So from originally being a term interchangeable with theos, daimon or daemon came to mean a lesser deity, but it's still a deity. So it's not just a non-existent idol. Often a figure that was on more intimate terms with men than more elevated gods. One day Anthony encountered a peculiar figure, a beast like a man down to the thighs, but having legs and feet like an ass. Donkey, right? Although Athanasius did not identify this creature, what he presented seems very much the description of a satyr. Those satyrs usually were described with the legs of a goat, not of a donkey. It is also possible that Athanasius, when writing this scene, also had Bes in mind, an Egyptian dwarf god especially popular in Hellenistic times and frequently honored as the lord of the eastern desert, which Anthony had made his home. Bes, however, is normally portrayed with ordinary legs and feet, and Athanasius says nothing about the figure being in any way dwarf-like, only like a man, which is in Greek anthropo. That's why we have anthropology, right? The studies of man or humankind. The figure with its legs and feet like an ass seems also related to the centaur, that hybrid of man and horse that was also found to be a synan, I don't know how to pronounce this word, synanthropic subspecies. I'm trying, sorry. Some decades later, Jerome definitely had Anthony encounter a centaur in these landscapes. Both the satyr and the centaur were among the most prototypal denizens of the traditional Greek wilderness. Numerous stories and ethnographic reports rendered how these half-men belonged naturally with the barbarian and the uncivilized. And why are we even bothering reading this? Because we want to give the context of the desert, how the desert was seen by the Christians, but also the people outside of the desert where Anthony lived. This hybrid would consequently not be seen as so fantastic, by Athanasius' contemporaries as it would be by a modern audience. The 2nd century AD writer Phlegon of Tralles referred, for example, to centaurs in Arabia, from where a specimen even had been captured and sent to Egypt before ending up embalmed in the storehouse of the Emperor Hadrian. The way the geographical terms Egypt and Arabia could be employed to refer respectively to the Nile Valley and the desert immediately east of this means that the centaur of Phlegon could have been caught in the same area where Antony later encountered this hybrid figure. Um, Paul, do you want to please continue with page 25 with subtitled
Yeah,
Greek gods?
and maybe just a quick summary there. So what he's basically saying is that the wilderness points to a number of these hybrid creatures that were really not civilized, and this makes some sense, right? Like especially with the spread of Christianity, it started in centers and cities from Jerusalem to Antioch and then outwards, Alexandria at this point. But when you're out in the desert, and scripture talks about this too, I can think of the Psalms, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and then, Jesus is led out into the desert, the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. That was kind of their territory, at least the way it's described. So you've got these other figures that are out there. Now, I find it interesting if someone had captured one of these centaurs and embalmed it, if there's a story for the other writer, why would you think it's a chimpanzee if they claim to have captured one of these guys once upon a time?